Let's talk about AI agents. They're not just science fiction anymore, right? They're becoming a real thing, promising to automate entire complex workflows, not just one-off tasks. But that brings up the big question. How do you actually build one? Well, today, we're going to break it all down. We're taking a super comprehensive guide and turning it into a clear, practical blueprint for you. Let's jump in. Here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll nail down what an AI agent really is. Then, we'll get into the nuts and bolts, its three core parts. After that, we'll see how to make agents work together as a team, talk about the absolutely crucial safety guardrails, and then we'll wrap it all up with the big takeaways for the future of automation. All right, let's kick things off with the big question. What exactly is an AI agent? And more importantly, how is it any different from the AI tools you might already be familiar with? You know that feeling, right? You build some automation that's great for simple, repetitive stuff, but the second things get a little fuzzy or complicated, it just breaks. If you've ever felt that pain, you've hit the exact wall that AI agents are designed to smash right through. Okay, here's the absolute key. An AI agent isn't just a chatbot answering a question. It uses a large language model, an LLM, to actually control and manage an entire process. It can make its own decisions, course correct if it needs to, and figure out when the job is done. The magic word here is independent. It works for you without you. Let me give you a really clear example to make this stick. Fraud analysis. Traditional automation, that's basically a checklist. If transaction X meets rule Y, flag it. Simple. But an AI agent, that's like a seasoned investigator. It's not just looking at one rule, it's looking at the whole picture, the context, the subtle patterns. It can spot something fishy even if it doesn't break a single specific rule. That's the leap we're talking about, from rigid checklists to genuine, nuanced reasoning. All right, so how do these things actually work? What's under the hood? Well, it all boils down to three essential fundamental building blocks. The easiest way to think about it is like this. You've got the model, that's the brain. It's the LLM doing all the thinking. Then you have the tools, those are the hands. This is how the agent actually interacts with the world, whether it's by searching a database, sending an email, whatever. And finally, you have the instructions. That's the rulebook. It tells the agent what its goal is and how it's supposed to act. So just remember, brain, hands, and a rulebook. Now let's dig a little deeper into those hands, the tools, because this is where the action is. They come in three main flavors. You've got data tools for finding stuff out, like reading a file or searching the web. Then you have action tools for doing things like updating a customer record. And this is where it gets really interesting. Orchestration tools. This is where one agent can actually become a specialized tool for another agent. Think about that. Agents calling on other agents to get a job done. And that idea of agents calling other agents leads us right to our next topic. What happens when a job is too big for just one agent? How do you scale up from a solo act to a whole team that can handle really complex work? Okay, before we get ahead of ourselves, here's a huge piece of advice. Start simple. The temptation is to build a whole army of agents right away, but you really shouldn't. A single, well-built agent with a good set of tools can be an absolute workhorse. You should always try to push that single agent to its limits before you even think about adding the complexity of a team. But, okay, let's say you've hit that limit and you do need a team. There are basically two main ways you can set it up. There's the manager pattern, which is hierarchical, kind of like a boss and their employees. And then there's the decentralized pattern, which is more like a relay race, where each agent passes the baton to the next specialist. So let's look at that manager pattern first. Think of the manager agent as the conductor of an orchestra. Let's say you ask it to translate hello into 3 different languages. Now, the manager itself doesn't speak Spanish, French, or Italian, but it knows who does. So it delegates the work out to its specialist agents, waits for them to report back, and then combines all their answers into one nice, neat package for you. And now for the other style, the decentralized pattern. This is your relay race. Imagine a customer asks, "Where is my order?" A triage agent gets the request first. Its only job is to figure out what kind of request this is. An order question. So it passes the baton, the entire workflow, over to the specialized orders agent. And now, the triage agent's job is done. It's out of the picture. The orders agent takes over and runs with it to the finish line. So, we've got a powerful agent, maybe even a whole team of them. That's awesome. But with all that power comes a ton of responsibility. This next part is absolutely critical. How do we make sure our agents are safe, reliable, and don't go off the rails? I love this quote because it just hits the nail on the head. There is no magic bullet for agent safety. You can't just install one safety feature and call it a day. The only way to do it right is to think in layers. You need a layered defense with multiple different guardrails all working together to keep things secure. And what do those layers look like? Well, you've got things like a relevance classifier. You don't want your customer service bots suddenly talking about 18th century poetry, right? That keeps it on topic. You've got safety classifiers to spot malicious attacks. PII filters to make sure sensitive customer info stays private. And this one is huge. Tools safeguards, which make the agent stop and think before it does something high risk, like issuing a huge refund. But listen, after all is said and done, no matter how many automated guardrails you put in place, the ultimate safeguard, the final safety net, is a human. You have to plan for human intervention. When an action is too risky, too sensitive, or when the agent just gets stuck, the smartest and safest thing it can do is raise its hand and say, I need some help. This isn't a failure. It's just smart, responsible design. Okay, we've covered a ton of ground, so let's bring it all home and boil it down to the core principles you need to remember as you start building these incredible new tools. Here are the 3 big things to take away. First, nail the foundations. Your brain, hands, and rulebook need to be solid from the start. Second, don't over-engineer. Start with a single agent and only build a team if you absolutely have to. And third, and maybe most importantly, build safety in from day one. It is not an add-on. It has to be a core part of your design from the very beginning. So when you actually go to do this, remember the path to success isn't some massive big bang launch. It's a crawl, walk, run approach. You start with a small, focused problem. You test it out with real people to see how it does in the messy, real world. And then you slowly and carefully grow what it can do over time based on that feedback.
So there you have it. That's the blueprint. You know what an agent is, how it's built, how to make it play nice on a team, and how to do it all safely. The only question left is the fun one. What's that frustrating, complicated, previously impossible to automate workflow in your world that's just waiting for an intelligent agent to come along and solve it?